Okay, everybody, I am so excited today because I am joined by Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ, host, judge, and now movie star Vernon Davis, who is in Gasoline Alley, which is in theaters and on demand now. How you doing today, Vernon?
Good, good. I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking.
Oh, no problem, man. So I absolutely love this film. I love your portrayal here of Kaiser the bouncer. Now, do you have any past experience in any capacity bouncing or doing security or just protecting any of your friends before to like help prepare for this role?
Well, when I first got drafted, I used to use, I guess you could say, a security guard, and he looked like a bouncer. You know, you had to be careful when you were, when you were getting, because there were so many people, that knew who I was, and I just wanted to feel safe. So I used the bouncer. So I kind of embodied that experience, and of course, being in the nightlife space, you see a lot of security guards, bouncers, and you just take in that energy and you just think about what energy, who do you need to be and how do you need to portray this character as a bouncer, So you just taking all that and you do your research, you study, and you embody all of it.
Yeah, and it's exciting to hear how smart you are just talking about acting already. It's really cool. And I think you've transitioned so smoothly from playing football to doing anything entertaining wise, whether it's hosting, judging, acting. But was this with acting something you always dreamed of doing? Was this something that came to you after football or even before football? You always thought about possibly being an actor?
Well, I never really thought about being an actor. If you would have told me 10 years ago, actor, I would have looked at you like you were crazy because that was that was just something that I didn't really want to do. But as my career started to evolve and started to take interest in so many different things, I said, hey, I want to explore this space. So I started reaching out, taking classes, and next thing you know, here I am pursuing the world of entertainment, and it's been so much fun.
That's awesome. It's so exciting to see you do it. Now, are you also now like a huge fan of movies and TV yourself? Like, do you watch a lot of stuff?
Yeah, I try to watch it as much as I possibly can, whether it's various platforms when it comes to streaming. And I make sure that I'm watching from a technical standpoint, because when you're acting, it's hard to really watch a movie like I used to watch, because I'm looking for so many different things that I can use when I'm in front of the camera.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because you mentioned about acting lessons and just learning the craft and observing, and you have such an observant mind. I can tell with the roles you take on. Do you bring that same commitment though you use training in football to acting? Like, are you bringing that same? Is it that same kind of work ethic you would use?
Yes, I think when you're doing anything, consistency and repetition is always the key to it. So if you can apply the same things that you apply during football, then you'll make it as far as you want to go. And for me, that was being the first one on the field, being the last one on the field, getting to the meetings early, and just soaking in all of that information and just working. If you work, don't complain, and everything will pay off.
So, can we say you're the first one to set and last one off set?
You know what? If I'm anything like Morgan Freeman, yes, I try to be. That guy was so impressive. Watching him, he showed up on time. He was the last one to leave because he wanted to have a debate with the director about a certain scene that he didn't fully understand. He wanted to understand everything about what the director wanted out of that scene, and with his character. So, just being around people like that who continues to inspire us. So you just take it and you learn from it. But that's what I try to do. That's the key to it all.
Yeah, and that's awesome that you're already working with people like Morgan Freeman in this film, Bruce Willis, so many big stars you can learn from, which is awesome. You also
Mhm.
mentioned too consistency. When I look at your IMDb and what you have coming down the line, you have so many projects coming out in 2022. Is that a conscious choice on your part? Do you think keeping busy is important?
Yeah, I think if you can continue to stay busy and just plant seeds, and like you talked about not too long ago, you said, is there anything that I can take from football and apply to what I'm doing now? And you can take everything from football. That's why I love the simple fact that I've been able to um, explore the game of football. It's given me a platform to be able to do so many different things. And I'm taking all those examples and experience that I learned from it, and I'm putting it into so many the various things that I'm doing today. So yeah, it's all about repetition and consistency. If you have those things, you continue to apply those things, which is extremely hard. It's easy to say, but it's hard to do. We can talk about repetition and commitment all day, but it's not easy if your mind isn't in it.
So that's the thing too, is I ask you, because you're doing things like acting and judging and hosting and doing interview with me, is how are you avoiding burnout? Do you have any like tips for that, to not just like, oh, I can't take anymore kind of feeling, you know?
No, I think when you get in that space, when you've endured so much and you've been in that, maybe that team, it could be anything. I don't know the experience that everyone has, in their life, but I know for me, being in a team setting and being a part of a team and getting up early in the morning at 6 a.m. and going to training camp, being there from 8 a.m. all the way to 10 p.m. at night, you go through so many things, you endure so much. The will to win attitude takes over and you won't allow yourself to fail. So when you have that in your system and in your body, anything that you go into, you're always going to win because you've been through it so many other times. It's just in a different setting, a different genre. You know what I mean? But you
Oh,
take
hell
that
yeah.
and you use it for your good.
Yeah, that's great advice. And yeah, it's cool to hear it from you. And now you had mentioned, working with a Morgan Freeman and Bruce Willis. When you started acting though, was there any other actors that inspired your work that maybe you went and watched some of the work to kind of learn from, in a sense?
Yeah, I think guys like Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, even Morgan Freeman, those guys who I grew up watching, Michael B. Jordan, who just hit the scene, is doing really well. But yeah, all of the guys that I looked at as I was coming up, those guys really inspired me to be the best that I can be when it comes to the craft. I'm just getting started, but
Yeah.
keep applying pressure and I'm going to try to be the best that I can be at it. That's all you have to do. Like my grandmother used to always say, just give your best and the rest will take care of everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, that's a great mindset to have. And having been a star athlete, did you feel any resistance like to becoming an actor from others? Like, do you feel like this feeling of someone not taking you seriously ever?
Yeah, I think like anything else, like when you're into a certain thing, like what we just talked about, if the consistency is there and you're showing up all the time, people are seeing you like football, for example. If they continue to see me making plays and they see me putting in the work, they're going to respect me at some point, right? And just like any other field, if they continue to see me on television and see me in films, they're going to respect me at some point because they know that I'm putting in the work. Because a guy coming from football, from sports, tapping into something else, it's hard to take them serious because they've been doing this for so long. This is what we've seen them do. This is their craft. They don't know this side. But after 2, 3, 4 years, if we continue to see them, they're like, oh, okay, he's doing this for real. He's in it. He showed commitment. He showed he's showing us that he can come in and do this year after year. And he's showing up. He's on TV. He's at the festivals. He's doing this. So I'm going to respect this man.
Yeah, hey, look, I respect you, man. You're showing such amazing talent already in this field. It's exciting because I was a huge fan of you in the NFL, and that's interesting too. You've already been on a huge stage with the NFL. So do you ever feel nerves when you act or host, or is it kind of piece of cake in that sense for you?
No, because I used to feel nervous all the time when I was playing ball. I would go out and I would be nervous about dropping the ball. I would be scared that I would let my teammates down. I just the fear of failure is always going to be with us no matter what we do. So whenever we go into something like this, I can remember that and I can relate to it. So I know that when it happens again, I'm just going to keep on pressing forward and I'm going to put my best foot in front of me and just give my best and see what happens.
Now, with football, acting, doing judging, hosting, is there one you love the most? Do you like them equally? Like, how are your feelings about it?
I like it all, but I really like the craft of acting because I'm able to tap into like my past life and the things that are going on now in my life. And I can use that as tools and building blocks when I'm working on my craft or specific script, right? And it's nothing like being able to use those emotions and bringing them alive and just being realistic under an imaginary circumstance. So I love it. I think it's great, and it's something that I can see myself doing for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you do more too. Now, my last question, I had to ask about this, but do you think the high you felt when you had the catch three happen in the big game against the Saints, can that be reached again in this industry? Do you strive to feel that again somewhere in your life?
Um, yeah, like I said, I think when you've achieved success, you're always going to achieve success because you have the building blocks, you have the formula, you have everything that it takes to be able to win. And once you understand that, you'll be able to have that same success in any genre or anywhere you go. But you have to keep that attitude. You have to keep that approach. And the moment you let off and steer away from it is the moment you'll fail, and the moment you won't reach those you won't reach those that place that you're trying to go, or that place that you've been before. You know what I mean? So you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, and that's again just inspirational stuff. I'm excited for everyone to check out you in this film. It's out now, Gasoline Alley, in theaters and on demand. And Vernon, while I'm here with you, I just want to thank you for winning me a bunch of matchups in Madden and winning me some fantasy matchups. It's so cool to talk to you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.